You sleep for 9 full hours. You wake up and still have to negotiate with yourself to swing your legs out of bed. Or maybe you pull into the driveway, turn off the ignition, and sit in a parked car for 10 extra minutes. You aren't doing anything in that front seat. You are just existing in the silence, delaying the moment you have to walk through your own front door. When this happens, we default to a very specific form of self-blame. We assume we are failing the basic maintenance protocols of adulthood. We drink more water, we go to bed earlier, and when the heaviness doesn't leave, we assume we are either physically broken or just lazy. But you cannot sleep off a life that is actively draining your cognitive architecture. You are not experiencing a physical failure. You are navigating a bandwidth tax that imposes a measurable drag on your fluid intelligence and executive control. We consistently misdiagnose burnout as a sleep deficit problem. Biologically, sleep has a very specific job. It restores muscle fatigue and consolidates daily memories. What sleep does absolutely nothing to cure is ego depletion. This is the clinical term for that quiet, soul-deep exhaustion you feel when your brain's capacity for self-regulation is entirely spent. This diagram shows the true biological problem. When you get 8 hours of rest, your physical battery fills to the top. But your cognitive bandwidth, the finite metric your brain uses to process choices and regulate stress, remains entirely empty. They operate on separate circuits. When you try to treat severe cognitive depletion with extra physical rest, you are applying a biological mismatch. You are treating the wrong disease entirely. Your brain relies on a strictly finite metabolic resource to regulate your emotions, to show empathy, and to make decisions. It is a biological gas tank, and every action draws from it. One of the heaviest, most continuous drains on that tank is something called persona maintenance. This is the immense psychic energy you burn every day adapting to the expectations of others, suppressing your unacknowledged stress, and hiding your authentic reactions behind a socially acceptable mask. Holding everything together forces the prefrontal cortex into severe fatigue, burning intense energy to maintain a rigid boundary. Once exhausted, minor tasks hit your system as massive, high-friction waves. Simply replying to an email suddenly feels monumental. Maintaining a persona carries a measurable metabolic price tag. It draws directly from the body's actual energy reserves, rendering that energy unavailable for the rest of your life. And that is just the baseline. The average adult processes approximately 35,000 individual decisions a day. Every single one of those choices, no matter how trivial, demands a biological energy trade-off from your brain. Then we add the scarcity tax. These are the background survival calculations you run constantly when you are operating under a deficit of time, a deficit of money, or a lack of emotional support. Operating under scarcity forces the brain into a state of tunneling, which actively reduces your fluid intelligence, your ability to reason and solve new problems before you even step out of bed. This is why you sit in the driveway staring at the steering wheel. It is not procrastination. It is your brain instinctively triggering an emergency survival protocol called passive renewal. Passive renewal is the search for an interval where absolutely zero problem-solving, decision-making, or emotional containment is required, a space where nothing is being extracted from you. Without building structural interventions into your daily life, these invisible daily leaks will easily, permanently outpace whatever physical rest you get at night. To reclaim your capacity, you have to stop treating a software overload with a hardware reboot. You need to restructure the actual load. The first intervention is implementing choice architecture. This means aggressively eliminating the thousands of micro-decisions that bleed your battery dry. You start by standardizing your meals. Lock in a repeating menu for your workdays so midday decision fatigue drops to zero. Next, adopt a simplified, pre-selected wardrobe. By removing the need to choose what to wear, you bypass the early morning drain on your executive function. This flowchart illustrates the final piece of the architecture, automating your morning and evening routines into thoughtless reflexes. We remove the branching choices and force the path into a single, unobstructed line.
By standardizing these seemingly trivial matters, you are artificially halting the drain on your prefrontal cortex. You conserve that precise metabolic energy for the high-stakes problem-solving required later in your day. These rigid daily automations act as a protective firewall around your finite executive function. Finally, we must stop confusing amusement with true recovery. Scrolling through your phone or watching television is an intake of data. It is stimulation, not rest. You have to build mandatory slack into your schedule. These are unallocated 25 to 50-minute gaps placed intentionally between high-demand events. Your autonomic nervous system requires this buffer to metabolize daily shocks and prevent the entire system from becoming brittle. And you must formalize your passive renewal. The 10 minutes in your parked car must evolve into an intentional, scheduled practice of agendaless silence. Walks without audio. Environments where nothing is extracted. You are not exhausted because you are weak, or lazy, or failing. Your exhaustion is a logical symptom of a system unoptimized for the heavy load it carries. Forgive yourself for the fatigue, restructure the load, and reclaim your bandwidth.